Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Triple N Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and we are going to be talking about Hindi language and culture. And my special guest is Arun Prakash, who is a very celebrated teacher and an author. He has written a Hindi book, which we are going to talk about in a few minutes. And he has set up the curriculum of Hindi language at Bel Air High School, and he has been teaching that for almost a quarter century, and he is also taught at the University of Houston and Rice University. Arun, it's a delight to meet you.
Pleasure.
And
Namaste.
Namaste. I'm delighted to meet you.
बहुत खुशी की बात है और
Yeah,
it's a pleasure for me and honor to you. Yes,
that's
I'm
fascinating.
glad I'm here.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, actually, Hindi is not my background.
Yeah.
But I come from Hindi-speaking belt, and I am born and raised and got my education in Kashi,
I see.
Varanasi, the most holy city for Hinduism, Jainism, and Hinduism. And also, it is the ancient, most surviving city of the world.
Yeah.
So Varanasi is my place, and therefore, even though I did not learn Hindi in my college, but it was my subject up to high school, and also is my mother tongue, and Hindi is my language, so of course.
That's fascinating.
Yes.
Okay, we are going to be talking about Hindi language and also his upcoming Hindi classes at India House, which will be very fascinating and very interesting for all those of you watching. Actually, this is coming to you live on YouTube. You can also download our app for Android or Apple. It is called Triple N Media, that is NNN Media, and you can follow us on Google Plus, YouTube, and also on internet radio, and you can also follow us on Facebook. Okay, we are talking about Hindi. What language is it derived from?
Yeah, actually, when I started teaching, then I had to learn a whole lot details and all this, because I'm an MBA in marketing and finance. And I have worked for many companies as a consultant, and Hindi I just got into because of my passion and love for it. So when we talk about Hindi, it is developed in 12th century BCE. At the same time, when English was being developed in England with the help of European languages, and Hindi was developing in India with the help of Indo-European languages, with a lot of influence from Middle Eastern languages like Farsi, Arabic, and Pashto. So it has influence, and it started developing in 12th century, and it took about 300 years before it became a full language, and it is called Khadi Boli also. And today, almost 750 million people around the world speak Hindi. In India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Nigeria, Trinidad, Tobago, Mauritius, and at many places you can go along very well just by knowing Hindi, like Saudi Arabia, lots of people there, and also United Arab Emirates.
That's
a lot of people, every third, fourth person will be speaking Hindi. So it's very popular, and the language that we are using in India right now is now using a lot of Punjabi, Bengali, Gujarati, and and of course South Indian languages. But it is very developed language and very expressive language, without a doubt. And the way when you say things in Hindi, and if you ask me to translate them in English, it takes away the entire beauty of the language.
And the other beauty of Hindi script and language is it's exactly what you see and is what you say and what's written. They are all same, unlike English, all these silent words or implied meanings and things like that.
It is a phonetic language. So you read and write and pronounce the same way. So it is. It's definitely you're right about that.
Okay, you mentioned that there's almost 750 million people who are in some way or the other able to communicate in Hindi, and why is it important for people to learn Hindi?
Well, when we talk about USA, because I'm teaching in United States.
That's right.
The first thing is that Department of Education, federal government has declared Hindi as a critical need language.
I see.
That means it has tremendous shortage of Hindi speaking bilinguals. And as Indian population is growing here, and as India is a coming up economy, lot and more organizations, government organizations, private organizations are interested in investing in India. So if you want to take advantage and you want to learn a language, why not an upcoming language? Why not a language that has use in your career, in your future? And as far as I know, at least 65% corporations in Houston alone have some kind of involvement with India. So if you know some Hindi and you have a project in India, you just do so much, even though a lot of people speak English, but knowing some Hindi has a lot of advantage, because when you know some Hindi, people will not start talking in Hindi in front of you and from switching from Hindi from English to Hindi time to time. So of course, and in United States, the Department of Education, Department of Defense, Department of National Security, our tax system, our social security system, our medical system, judicial system, everywhere we need Hindi speaking bilingual because of the growing population.
You're absolutely right, because most of the people, as a cardiologist, I see are people older than me, and most of them, speak regional languages.
My daughter is also a physician, and she has a lot of advantage in knowing Hindi, and also she speaks Spanish. So yes, it is, of course, in every field. The tax department needs us because a lot of Indian businesses and all those things. So yeah, of course. So it is really good. If somebody asks me that what second language you should learn, I would definitely say that you should learn a second language that can give you not only a job but a higher paying job, and Hindi is one. So Hindi, Chinese, Arabic, Swahili, these are the upcoming languages which are badly needed in United States of America for the companies going abroad and doing business. So yes, we should learn it.
I think in a global village which we are all living today, I think it makes more sense to learn Hindi versus, when I came to this country, people were saying, oh, I'm taking German, I'm taking Italian. I didn't really knew the significance of, because why they are taking all these foreign languages, because they are not going to live in Germany and all these things. But now
let me tell you, for the last 5-10 years, lot of schools have dropped these languages from their curriculum. French, German, they are going away. And even in colleges, many people are choosing Chinese and Arabic and Hindi over these European languages.
Okay, let's get deep into this Hindi, and let's talk about your 25 plus years of journey in the school districts and colleges here in Houston, and then we'll talk about your book, and after that we'll talk about your upcoming classes at India House.
Definitely, and Hindu worship society. Yes. And so actually what happened, I didn't come to US to teach Hindi or anything. I just came here as a professional with my MBA, and then in 1988 I got a call from a friend of mine, Dr. Haku Israni. He's also a professor, and he was the president of the Parent-Teacher Association at Bel Air High School, and his kids were also enrolled in the school. So he started the thought that why we should not have Hindi also, because Bel Air is a language academy. So he proposed that we should start Hindi, and the management said, well, we can have the program if you can find a teacher, and we don't have money to pay for. So Dr. Haku Israni called me and said, Arun, you are a consultant, see if you can find time for a class. There's no money. I said, well, when it comes to Hindi and it comes to community service, I'm all for it. And I was invited in the Bel Air High School within a couple of days. And within 2 days of my interview, I started the program with nothing. And I said, well, I'm teaching one level of Hindi in high school, and there's no material, no nothing, and no experience of teaching also. And so I said, well, that's okay. It's Hindi, and I can always learn, and I can always teach. So that's how it all started. And then it became second level, and third level, and fourth level, and IB and AP, and material. I just kept developing the material. Myself, handwritten, and then we got a font in Hindi. There was nothing.
That's right.
So we got first font of Hindi on Mac, developed by David Courtney. And then I started typing in Hindi, and I slowly created the lessons and worksheets and tests, and it kept collecting, and program grew from 8 students in 1988 to over 100 students.
My gosh.
Today we have 7 levels of Hindi at Bel High School.
I see, yeah.
And then in 1993, I got a phone call from Student Association President from Rice University. Mr. Prakash, we want to start a Hindi program, but we won't pay you. So I said, well, you don't pay me. If you want to learn, I will be there. But I can only teach in evening. So they said anytime. So we started Hindi program. The president invited, and I went and I started teaching 3 levels, established in 3 years. And we had over 50 students in such a small university.
This is from Rice.
At Rice, Hindi level 1, 2, and 3. And I taught there for 5 years, absolutely free at no charge.
For those people who are listening from different places other than Houston, I have to say Bel Air High School is one of the Ivy League high schools in Houston, and Rice is one of the Ivy League universities for postgraduate studies.
Without doubt. And then what happened in 2006, we had a WAIT conference in the University of Houston, and I met the Dean of Department of Liberal Arts and College of Liberal Arts, actually, Dr. John Antel. And I told him that, why don't you start Hindi program at University of Houston? He said, we don't have money. I said, well, I'll teach for free. And he said, you are serious? I said, yes, I'm serious, and I will not ask for money. Very second day, he called me, just 1 week before opening the school. And he said, Arun, if you have 10 students, you have the program. And 10 students, many of my students from Bel Air is already going there. As soon as they found out my program had 30 students. So we started with 30 students, and now I taught for 28 years and 3 institutions. And good thing is that while teaching Hindi, I got the opportunity to teach culture of India. Actually,
that's fascinating.
That included Hinduism at Bel Air High School.
So you developed all the curriculum at Bel Air and Rice and University of Houston.
I did, and not only that, I became the part of the team that has developed the entire curriculum from grade 1 to grade 16 for the Department of Education. There is an organization called American Council for the Teaching of Foreign Languages.
I see.
They funded the program for 5 years. And 5 of us from the universities, and I was the only one from high school, we developed the program in 3 years, and it is the standardized curriculum now.
It's all across the nation?
All across the nation.
Oh, fascinating.
And and Department and Texas Education Agency has adopted the same curriculum. And you can see my name on that. And I'm there, and I'm teaching the same curriculum. And this book that I have created is based on that curriculum.
Let's take a little break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about your book and your upcoming classes at India House. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to NNN Talk Show. Please be sure to download our app for Android or Apple devices. It is called NNN Media. Then you can watch us on your smart devices, your cell phones or pads or Surface, whatever you have. Plus, you can also watch us on internet, and this is being live video streamed to YouTube and Google Plus, and you can watch it on demand at a later time. Okay, let's talk about your book. Tell us, how did this book come
what
about?
happened? I didn't plan to create this book, but I kept collecting, creating the lessons and worksheets and workbooks, and then they were reviewed by my own students at Bel Air High School and at Rice University, and they said, well, why not we print it in the book form? So I said, well, I will do that, but you have to tell me how you want to learn, in what way you want to learn, and what you want to learn first and second and third. And so why don't you design it the way you want it? So students planned all the lessons and the way it should proceed.
I see.
And then it was reviewed by another group of students next year.
Yeah.
So it took 8 years
I see.
to finalize the curriculum,
yeah.
and the chapters and the units and the method of teaching and
yeah.
the worksheets and workbooks, everything. So students of Bel Air High School have developed this book, and the material used in it has also helped from many other books like Teach Yourself Hindi, and professor of Hindi at UT, Dr. Herman Van Olfen, helped a whole lot. So this book is published finally after 8 years of work on it in 2008. And this is the second volume of this book.
Okay, let's give the title of this book. Maybe you can tell us while I hold this one.
Yeah, it is Namaste Ji, Elementary Hindi. And the curriculum in this book is designed for 3 years of junior high school, that is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, or 2 years of high school, that is level 1 and 2, or 1 year of college, that is 2-semester curriculum.
Oh, I see.
So this is how it goes. So if
so does this book cover the entire requirements for the college language?
Yeah, it does. It does for level 1 of college, elementary level, any college in the United States. And if you want to teach in high school, it covers 2 years of curriculum. And if you teach it in junior high school, it is 3. So I have designed it for 3 years in junior, 2 years of high school, or 1 year, 2 semesters of 5 hours credit for college.
For the college. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Hindi language and culture. My special guest is Arun Prakash, a celebrated Hindi teacher and an author of a Hindi book. Let's talk about what are the contents in this book.
This is a book that is called Elementary Hindi. That means it starts from the very beginning. It is for those who have no knowledge of Hindi. So you start with 0, and then you learn the very basic, starting with Namaste. And then आप कैसे हैं, how are you, आपका नाम क्या है, आप कहाँ से हैं. It proceeds, and then after learning a very basic conversation skill, it moves to writing system. And we go our writing system from alphabet and vowels. And after writing system, with each writing exercise, we do the reading also at the same time. So when writing is learned, reading is learned at the same time. And then we move on to small passages. Like in form like introduce yourself, or your school, or your family, or your country. So that we go. So it has 3 sections. The very basic section, and then the writing system, and then it has the small essays and the some small essays and conversation and dialogues. That's what it has.
Yeah, this may be a stupid question. Can
no,
somebody learn?
No question is stupid.
The upcoming question. Can somebody learn Hindi by just watching Hindi movies?
Yes, of course. But what happens? When you are learning that way, you are limited to your vocabulary. That is limited to movie, and also limited to certain things, and not necessarily that good to be used in your daily life.
You're not learning the foundation. Because I asked a similar question when David Courtney was here last week about why is it important to learn classical music. He said, this is where you learn the foundation. If you learn the foundation, the outside decoration, you can put whatever you want.
And you're not dependent on, once you know how it is, the structure is, then you don't have to depend on movies. You can create your own sentences with your own time, and you can express the way you want. And why not? And if everybody can learn from the movies, then why we have created books and why we have to go to classes? Everything is on internet. Why we not learn here and don't go to school? Things you have to learn from. If you look at somebody's eyes and body language and everything, it is easier to learn than by looking at it yourself.
Absolutely. How do we build vocabulary? To me, that's the biggest problem.
Let me tell you. It is so simple. If I tell you in very simple words, in a 24-hour period, how many words do you use? 350 maximum. Because limited pronouns, limited adverbs, limited adjectives, limited verbs, and most of the times you use the largest number of vocabulary that you use is nouns.
Yeah, nouns, names, proper names.
Not only proper names, names of things, and proper nouns, and any kind of noun.
Any nouns, yeah.
So, and so in a 24-hour period, if you add up, your vocabulary is very limited. And that vocabulary you can learn in 6 weeks or less, maybe.
That's something you can't learn in a movie theater and say, okay, what's the vocabulary?
That's what it is. See, number of pronouns are limited. Number of adjectives are larger. Number of verbs are larger. The largest number is nouns. And then we have prepositions, very few. Conjuncts, very few. So expressing like namaste ji, aaiye, baithiye, jaiye, khaiye, pijiye. That's how we say.
Verbs, as you said, are probably far more limited than the adjectives. And the adjectives, you don't need to use a whole lot because it's not necessary in ordinary
That's
conversation.
What I'm saying. That's why I say, I ask my students, hey guys, go home. And from the first thing that you start in the morning, you keep thinking which noun or pronoun or adjective we use, and keep collecting them and come up and give me how many words you actually use. So what happens, there are two ways. One is a common vocabulary that you use every day, 24 hours. And the other is the event vocabulary. Like if you go to a music program, vocabulary will be different. If you go to a sports field, vocabulary will be, you go to doctor's office, vocabulary is different. You go to law office, but that is only to that extent. If you get into an accident or you see something, we call that specialized, the subject based vocabulary. You don't use that every day.
That's absolutely
every day you use, did you eat or not? Did you go to sleep or not? What are you doing? Where are you going? And hundreds of times, how are you? What's up, man? So this is what we do. But when it comes to, so that vocabulary you can learn very easily. And then you can go into detail about your jewelry and about your dress and about animals and birds, and how many times you use those words.
That's right. Actually. Everyday conversations, just as you said. How are you doing? What did you do? What did you eat? Where are you going? You know.
If you go to zoo, you need some names.
I know.
If you go to a museum, you need some names. Otherwise,
so
you can just keep, So as you go, you learn. And we have developed the lessons in this book just like that. Like if you are in an accident, vocabulary. If it is your birthday, vocabulary. If you go to doctor's office, vocabulary to doctor's office. If you go to a law office, or if you go to a courthouse, the vocabulary, it is subject-based vocabulary. We have that.
That's fascinating.
But we come to that late, the second level. Second year of Hindi, you will learn those subject-based vocabulary. That's what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Triple N Talk Show. My name is Dr. Nik Nikam, and my special guest is Arun Prakash, a celebrated teacher, and he has written a book in Hindi called Namaste Ji. I think I got it right.
Absolutely, बिल्कुल. आपकी हिंदी बहुत अच्छी है. You have nice, good Hindi. Don't worry.
मैं इस में मराठी बोल रहा था. हमारा मराठी तो थोड़ा.
No, you're doing just fine.
Okay, so and you can follow us on our app, which is NNN Media, where you can download it for your Android or Apple devices, whether it's cell phone or tablet, whatever it is, and you can follow us 24/7, and you can also watch this video on demand at a later time. Okay, let's talk about your upcoming Hindi classes at India House and also Hindu worship.
Actually, what happened? I have taken a retirement now. So I thought then I have all the time in the
retirement world from your
from my business and
business
so I just
not
want
from life and not from your
no
passion.
Of course not. So I thought that why not there's so many people want to learn Hindi, but it is only in one school. So they cannot reach. There's so many parents from east, west, north, south approach me. That, why don't you teach in my area? Why don't you do this? So now I have decided, I have formed an organization, a non-profit organization called Asha Shri Hindi School. And under this, I will try to open at least one school or one place where students all over the town, where students can learn Hindi in a formal way, Hinduism in a formal way, culture of India in a formal way, and that after completing, they can take it to their school or college and go for a higher level.
That's fascinating.
So I will be making this program a formal program. It will not be 4 or 5 week program. It will be 36 weeks program, 2 hours lesson every week. That means we will cover the entire curriculum prescribed by Texas Education Agency for at least one level of college Hindi, or one level of high school Hindi, or 2 levels of junior high school Hindi. That's what I will follow.
In college, how many levels do they need for a second language?
2 years. That is 4 semesters.
4 semesters.
Yes.
Oh, I see. So does that cover all those 4 semesters? Or?
No.
I see.
No. In the beginning, the program that I'm starting will cover only 2 semesters.
2 semesters.
Of course.
So the first year program will be totally covered.
Yeah, and after learning that, I will issue a certificate. And if you go to any college, any university where Hindi is offered, you can just show that certificate and take a credit by exam, small test, written test and verbal test, and you get the credit for it for $35, $40, and you straight go to second year. Or if you prefer to learn both years from me, like you continue next year, third year, then you can just take a credit by exam and opt out.
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
so this is something they can do on the weekend, so it's not on a weekday.
This is only weekend. It's only Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
A class, so it does not interrupt your regular activities. And this class is not limited just for students.
Yeah.
Actually, anyone who is in 6th grade or above can learn, and it is for Hindi speakers, non-Hindi speakers, Afro-Americans, Caucasians, anyone who is interested. Anyone who's married to an American and an American wants to learn Hindi or want to go to India, or their children, it's open to everyone. And so anybody can come, enroll and learn.
I'm almost tempted with all this flowery
I'm leaving
coverage
this book for
of this
you.
topic.
Look at it. Yes, of course.
And this is really absolutely fascinating. That's what one of my passion is, to make education that is easily accessible to people all across the globe, not just in developed countries like United States or Europe or even India. I'm more into getting this education in the hands of, like they were talking about, rural areas. Google is talking about sending balloons to Sri Lanka and South Africa, African deserts and all this, and providing Wi-Fi. I said, why not we get all this basic foundation of education to people all across the globe? If they are willing to learn, then we need to provide an opportunity for them to grasp this.
I'm all for it. That's what I have in mind.
Yeah.
I have actually started thinking as to how to put all the teaching on internet so that anybody can access and learn. But my problem is that I have created and I've done so much work, but I'm not computer savvy. So I myself cannot record and put everything for everybody to learn. But if I get technical help, I'm all for it. I can create lessons.
I think you're trying to talk me into something that so close and near and dear to my heart. I'm a cardiologist. People say, how the hell do you know all this technology?
Absolutely.
I said, in 1980, there was a computer on the street where I lived, community college in Detroit. So I started going to computers, and somehow I am always been fascinated by this digital world, I should say. So ever since that time, I've been involved with technology. And actually what we are doing today, this live video stream to YouTube, our conversation today is all the culmination of that passion for technology. As you can see, we got 3 computers here and a MacBook, which is sending this signal through Google, thanks to Google and YouTube.
Yeah, of course.
And we are able to live video stream. And this is something which anybody, anywhere in the world can watch it live.
I have no problem, and I will be very happy to do that. If I have 2-3 people sitting here and I'm teaching them and it's being recorded and it's given to everyone in the world, what a good idea and wonderful thing you have in mind. I can do that.
It's like preserving, if it's a coin or diamond, people will preserve it in a locker and all these things. But knowledge is something, we have an opportunity to preserve, because what you have learned over 2-3 decades is something can be preserved that can serve not only people in Houston, but as I said, people all across the globe who are interested in learning Hindi, whether in Australia or Africa or in Japan.
If anyone can learn from my Hindi, from my lesson, from my teaching, I'm blessed. And
let's see if we can put maybe in the process, like they used to say that along with the flower, even the thread gets a chance to go to the heaven. So maybe
we can definitely. I have everything on computer. This whole thing is on computer. This is workbook. It has dialogues. It has pronunciation practice. It's all on computer. But how to put it for others to access, I have no idea. Somebody can do it for me, and I'll be very happy.
Well, let's see.
And if you want me to give lessons to you here, and you record and send it, let's do it.
Since you're already giving this 36 weeks of curriculum that is good for the learning basic Hindi and also learning like college level Hindi, let's see if we can put our heads together and put this on YouTube or somewhere where it would be it would be reachable by anybody, any Indian or any non-Indian from any part of the world.
We can do that. We can do that. It will, and it's not that I have to wait for it. It's not that I don't have time. Anytime you want to have a lesson and you want to put it on YouTube, we can create 15-minute lesson, 30-minute lesson, and there's no. And I tell you, Hindi is extremely easy to learn language because it is phonetic. If you compare to English, it is 1/4 the time you can learn. And you will not believe how much you can learn in such a short time. If you just come to one class of mine of 2 hours, you will not believe how much you have learned in that.
That's fascinating. So let's talk after this show is over, and let's see how we can bring your wealth of knowledge to a permanent repository such as YouTube, where we can reach millions of people who truly can benefit. We're just not talking about just making video presentations, but that can last for decades.
We can anyway. If somebody can do it, I'm all for it. I can provide all the material that I have, all the knowledge I have. I'm willing to share it.
Arun, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Triple N Talk Show. My name is Dr. Nik Nikam. We are talking about the Hindi language, which is maybe the third most spoken language in the world, I should say, after English and
Mandarin Chinese.
Chinese and Hindi is probably the next one. So my special guest has been Arun Prakash, who is a celebrated author and a teacher who has been teaching Hindi for more than a quarter of a century.
And I want everyone to come and join my class. I'm going to teach at India House on Saturdays and Hindu Worship Society on Sundays. And the class will be from 10 to 12. And there will be a very small donation afterwards, and regardless of your ability to pay, you can enroll and learn, but you have to be a serious learner.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Arun. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching.